Let's go, go, go.
August is coming to a close. It's time to put your rally caps on and blast through the end of the month next week. And the reality is, once we get through August, and that's in our rear view mirror, it is holiday season. So fourth quarter preparation should be done, as well as, depending on your role in the weight loss equation, whether you are a staffer or ownership or even corporately working, everybody's got different things they need to be working on. Now, I happen to know for a fact we have a lot of franchise corporate offices that watch these videos and reach out to us from time to time. And although we don't take on corporate offices as clients, we deal exclusively with physicians and chiropractors and individual franchisees. There's some things I want to share with franchisors that would sure make your franchisees' lives a lot easier. In fact, selfishly speaking, it would make our lives a lot easier, because instead of having to focus on some of these things, we can focus on the bigger things that help make more money for our clients, and in turn helps you generate more royalty and in many cases sell more nutritional supplements. So first and foremost, franchisors, quit being so gosh darn provincial. You need to understand that although you are based in a tiny little corner of the country, not the rest of the country is not thinking the same way you are. I know when I ran 3 national weight loss companies, one of the things I had a hard time getting people that didn't travel in the office to understand was that because we were in a northern climate, and in particular northeastern Ohio, just because there was snow on the ground in our backyard didn't mean people weren't already at the beach in Florida. The people weren't already seeing flowers blooming in Alabama, Mississippi. That the flowers on the cactus weren't already popping in Texas and Arizona and parts of New Mexico. That understanding also there was still snow in the northern tier states. It was getting them to understand that we cannot be setting up our national advertising based on local wants and needs. So best advice I can give any corporate office is during fourth quarter, you should have all of next year's advertising signed, sealed, and delivered and out your door by New Year's Eve for next year. First quarter stuff should all be done in the next 60 days, and most certainly get everything else done by the end of the year. Help your franchisees, help your licensees out, help your dealerships out. Get that information out ahead of time. Let's face it, there are no surprises. You already know the seasons that are coming. You already know what the triggers are for people to respond. How hard is it to come up with 12, 13, 14 different marketing strategies to give to your franchisees, dealers, and licensees? Get out ahead of it so they have it. Our selfish interest we get a little tired of hearing that the advertising information is delayed yet again and they don't have it and they're missing deadlines. So get out ahead of it. The second thing we invite franchise corporate offices to do is wrap your arms around the digital space. Far too many of you have websites and advertising material that is not Google or Facebook or Bing approved. It cannot be pushed up. You cannot link information to those sites because there are claims, there's information on there that is not approved to run by Google, by Yahoo, by Facebook, by Instagram, by a lot of different social media platforms and digital spaces. So get with the digital program, get your stuff compliant so your franchisees can take the creative that you've built and get it out there and use it in the digital space. Next thing to understand is traditional media is not dead, corporate offices. You need to be producing TV spots, radio spots, some high quality print ads, whether it's for newspaper, magazines, weeklies, dailies, direct mail pieces, billboards, whatever it might be. Every market needs to have a mix of both traditional as well as digital advertising content. And we're finding out a lot of the corporate offices that our clients are dealing with haven't quite gotten their arms around that. Now, no corporate office is ever going to be perfect. We're just inviting those that are a little weaker in that space to get a little stronger with it. Number 3, communicate, communicate, communicate. I cannot understand why it's so difficult for a corporate office to communicate with the field. I really don't. Not in this day and age. Not when you can, in a matter of seconds, get your message out on as many as a dozen different platforms. There is no reason why there shouldn't be relentless communication. Now, I haven't run national weight loss companies for, it's been it'll be 7 years coming up, I think next week or the week after. And in the course of that time, in those 7 years, prior to that, we used to get our message out anywhere between 3 and 5 times a day. 3 to 5 times a day, we had some piece of information going out to our local offices. There was no reason why someone wasn't way ahead of the curve and knew everything that was going on. That includes any delay in delivery of anything, any back orders on items, any holdup in the announcement or the release of information. Anything and everything, you should be communicating. If you have a franchisor that isn't, there might be some other issue going on there. It might even be a competency issue that exists. Because in this day and age, you can get a 12-year-old to do a lot of the stuff that enables you to get that message out. The next thing is, and it's kind of along the lines of communicate, face-to-face meetings as well as digital space meetings. There is no reason why a corporate office shouldn't be holding at least weekly some type of gathering for everyone to get together, if not only to reinforce their message, but to introduce training ideas, to share ideas of what other locations are doing. And far too many corporate offices just seem to go into a blackout, and it's almost like there's an embargo on any information coming from that office other than maybe once or twice a year. They're slow to return phone calls, let alone have a conference call. They don't show up for meetings or even hold meetings, let alone put out YouTube videos or held a Google Hangout or some type of group video meeting that they could be doing. There's so many simple, free things your franchisor could be doing, and as a franchise corporate office, you could be doing. These are all simple things. This is why we don't like to work with franchisors, the corporate offices, because if they haven't figured these things out, we really don't want to be in bed with them. We'd rather be working with the franchisee, with the licensee, with the dealer to help them work around these things to some extent. But this is kind of an urgent plea to some of these offices. Keep in mind, there are nearly 40 weight loss companies out there right now that franchise. Those are only the ones we can find. So there may be even more than that. There are a lot of them out there. And a lot of them are very successful locally, regionally, in many cases nationally. So depending on which one you may or may not be affiliated with, you may be experiencing different levels of success. So if you work for the corporate office of a weight loss franchisor, get your act together. Get that stuff out. It is not hard to get that information out to your franchisees, your dealers, your licensees. If you are a franchisee and you're having trouble getting your corporate office to communicate, to get that information to you, to provide those resources, we may be an alternative. I saw an ad on LinkedIn the other day. Even True Value Hardware is recognizing that other hardware franchises don't deliver the quality of service True Value apparently does. Well, we're kind of the same way. We're Intellifran. We're the only company in the United States that provides operation support, full and complete operation support to weight loss operations run by physicians, chiropractors, and franchise investors. We deal with nearly 30 brands in over 125 locations in 3 countries. If you'd like to find out more about becoming a client of Intellifran, click us, call us. There's 12 ways to reach us. We'll be more than happy to have a short conversation with you to initially figure out if we can help you or not. Have a great day. We will see everybody at 1 o'clock Eastern Time for the Power Train.
Let's go.